you'll have noticed that I got myself a CRT monitor, but not just the consumer grade. This is a PVM. In this video, I'll be showing how to set one up, what you would need, and a side-by-side comparison between a video from an upscaler captured using the Elgato HD60 versus a video painstakingly recorded from the PVM using a DSLR, and a few tips on how to achieve that. So let's start with taking a peek at what's inside this PVM. Okay, now CRTs, they do fascinate me what they are inside, but also they scare the freak out of me because they can hold voltages high. They're so high that they can, actually probably kill you, even if the plug is, if it's not connected. Because this thing here, this tube, is basically a giant capacitor. And yeah, it holds a lot of freaking charge. So now, if you are attempting to open up and fix or repair a CRT, first of all, make sure you know what the freak you're doing. I do not, because I'm got no experience in repairing CRTs. If you're just somebody who's got an old CRT and the one who just open it out and salvage all the components, make sure you freaking discharge it first. Now, discharging it, basically you get a screwdriver here and you connect it to an alligator clip. You then connect the alligator clip to the ground, and you ground plane on this CRT. Now, can you see this suction cup here, this thing that looks like a doctor's stethoscope? What you need to do is just like gently, very gently put your screwdriver underneath there. I'm not going to do it at the moment because that seems really stuck on and I don't want to ruin this tube. And I'm not going to do anything with this anyway, but if you are going to do this, gently slip your screwdriver very gently underneath there, and you'll hear a click or a spark or something like this, and that means it's discharged. Now, I just opened this out because I just wanted to show you and also to see if there's any dust or anything like that inside it. It actually seems pretty good, in good condition. So I'm not going to bother doing anything with it. The less I do it, the better. This thing works very nicely. I have tested it, and yeah, so I'm not going to do anything. If it's not broken, do not fix it. Now, this dude here has been on the back of my mind for like several months now. And at first I was thinking, okay, shall I get this or shall I get the OSSC, which is, an open source upscaler, which I think I still will I wish to get that still because it is really good. And if you're looking for an upscaler that is open source, I highly recommend it. I will leave the link in the description below. And what I wanted this for is nostalgia time. Now, I know that retro games, which I play on nostalgia time, Amiga, Commodore, and Commodore 64 games, are best on CRTs. Now, what I want this for is to record my Commodore 64 and Amiga games. Okay, so for those of you who do not know, PVM is basically a professional video monitor. So it's like a studio monitor, and it's not consumer grade. So these things are really built, for quality. Okay, so on a PVM, you will not find the standard, connections that you do on a consumer grade monitor or a consumer grade CRT. You will, however, notice these BNC connections, and these are the coaxial connections, which, they are very high quality. Okay, in order to connect your retro systems, like your Amiga or your Commodore 64 or anything like this, well, providing that they have RGB or S-Video or Luma Chroma connection, or even component connection. You can do composite here, but it's composite itself, why would you get a PVM just to do composite? RGB is your best bet because RGB will give you the clearest and clearest and crispest, most vibrant picture. Now, once you get into the world of PVM, you will notice that there is a whole world out there of video signal information to learn from. Now, in the normal consumer grade world, you will just have a SCART lead or anything like this, or even an S-Video lead or component lead, and you won't have to worry about it. This RGB, standard RGB, will need a sync signal itself. So what is a sync signal? Basically, it's just like a series of electronic pulses which are sent along with the video, signal itself, and it puts a pulse at the end of each scan line and keeps the image in synchronization. That's basically what it is. Now, with regards to Amiga, as I said, you will need red, green, and blue, and a sync signal. Now, in order to connect this to your gorgeous retro computers, you will need an adapter just like this, which is basically a SCART socket, which goes into red, green, blue, and composite sync, or C-sync. These two are the audio, and my audio goes into my hi-fi, so don't need them, pretend they're not there. Now, depending on your PVM, you need to make sure that you have the right sync, because if your PVM accepts C-sync, that's fantastic, this cable will do. Now, when searching around for more information about sync signals, I came across my Life in Gaming's video about sync and demystifying sync. I highly recommend this because it taught me so much, as did their channel about PVMs and anything like this. So yeah, I will link that in the description below. And finally, we have the composite sync. And that's it. And that goes to the SCART socket. And now I connect this to my wonderful Amiga 500. Now with everything set up, let's start turning these things on. Let's turn the monitor on. And yes, you may, if you're lucky, notice that the picture is scrolling like it's an NTSC on PAL on screen. But all you need to do is just get the V-hold potentiometer and turn that until it's stable. Okay, so now that we have this connected, let's load a game up. Okay, so it's Maddie from the future again, and right now I'm just dealing with the issue of filming a CRT. I managed to get the flickering right, as in, the flickering is, all I need to do, this is like flickering at 50 Hertz, and what I need to do is just put the shutter speed at 50 and it's fine. If I put the shutter speed at 40, then you'll start seeing it flicker, and I'll put it back to 50. And if I put it higher, 60, 80, now I had used here previously my favorite lens. I absolutely love this lens. It is a 50mm fixed lens, 1.4D, and it is just, I love it. However, I tried to use it on the CRT, and of course it captured the detail. However, you would have noticed that it captured the freaking vertical, weird, sort of distorted lines. Now, can you notice all this? I cannot see it in person, but I could see it on the monitor of the camera. You can notice all this I don't know what to call it. And this irritated me, when I came to edit, so I had to kind of like reshoot. This is kind of like one of the few £100 or few €100 lens, and this has some distortion. Now, what I've discovered is that distortion gets rid of that weird sort of gauzy effect. I don't know what the frick you call that effect, but okay, so this thing, Nostalgia Time, just got freaking hard to film because this is the third time I'm here correcting my mistakes. This seems good. Maybe I finally found the sweet spot after all the stupid settings which I've just done. Now let's do a comparison video of this and the what do you call it, something which has been upscaled and then captured. Side by side comparison. And I'm going to do a demo, the demo because it's identical footage. Okay, so here is Buggy Boy zoomed in with some macro lens action on the CRT, and that's why you're seeing all the detail of the sprite and everything. You're also going to be wondering how is she going to record in stealth time with the camera in front of it at the same time as, you know, playing it. Well, I want to do a dual monitor setup on this thing, split the SCART cable, and yes, I have plans. Because earlier on I mentioned component cable, and there are the kind of cables which, you know, you find on HD TVs or monitors or things like this, well, mostly TVs, and you know, upscalers. So it's like a 3 RCA with, you know, red, green, blue. Okay, so to connect something via RCA, what you need is these RCA to BNC connectors, and you connect one to the R or the Y, and just connect the component cable to the corresponding colors. So the red goes to the red. There is no sync needed. Sync is on green, remember? Green is luminance in sync. Yes, I know. And the other two, some leads will have this, some leads will not, go to the audio. So as I did with the Amiga, I'm gonna connect these to my external speakers. So what I'm gonna connect to this gorgeous PVM is my little PSP, which is of course component. Now you're probably wondering what the freak is she doing with the PSP now? No. The PSP was the final thing that I actually ever bought, and it wasn't this one, it was the PSP, the first one, the white one, and I had to get this one again because I saw it in blue, and also I missed the PSP memories, and I got it not for the PSP games, but actually because I was told that it can emulate Amiga. PSP UAE, that's right, and portable Amiga was very, you know, appealing to me. Of course, my wonderful games, most of them are you know, redone retro games. And there you go, you have a portable Amiga. And what we have to do here is change the RGB there. There's a toggle between RGB and component. So we click that and it goes and selects it the component. Okay, so earlier on we used the Amiga and we used an external sync. Now I think this is sync on green or something like that, or maybe it's classed as internal sync. I have no idea how this works, but we have to change it to internal sync. Let's check out something from the PSP itself. It's kind of like, you know, give it some perspective. Something with very good graphics. This part, I love it. It looks so beautiful. Bomb. What? Bomb. No, bomb. Whatever the frick it was. Of course, I couldn't resist it. I saw it in the store and I was just like, mine. I want it. And of course, the only reason why I ever liked Outrun was because of the music. This magical shower, or whatever it's called, sound shower. I just love this music. And to be honest, with regards to the actual game itself, on the Amiga, Commodore 64, whatever, even on the arcade, because I've played it, I much prefer Lotus Trilogy on the Amiga. So that's all for today. Thanks so much for your likes, your shares. Do leave your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to check out my other videos and to subscribe for more. For now, I will say adios. For the generous donations, I would like to say a big thank you to my patrons: Al Hunt, Anthony Whittington, Boris Matishin, Cameron Armstrong, Carrie S. Turner, Karsten Lervad, Casual Commodore, Espen Galbeck, Kachituke164, Hayes Maker, James Burr, Jan Bita, Jim Leonard, Lance Johansson, Matthew, Matt Shepkar, Nor-E, Robert Minnis, Rofe Otterstein, Roy Gelotti, Rudiger Stiedel, Sean O'Keefe, Sophie Leroy, Thomas Presina, Thomas Muller, The Deeply Cynical, Mickey Holm, Stuart Evans, Ranzi, and Abraxas. If you wish to support me on Patreon, the link is in the description below, as well as links to my patrons' websites or YouTube channels.